What's up YouTube, Christo here, and I've got another video for you. My first vinyl video since like Black Friday record store day. Bit of a mouthful there, but wanted to do this just to kind of let you know I'm still out there. I'm still avidly collecting. I'm still, very much into my music, into my records, all of that stuff. Just been completely snowed under with, school, work, home, all of that stuff. But basically I put together a little stack here. Records I picked up in the last few months, basically since Black Friday, that I just wanted to show you what I've been listening to, show you what I've been picking up. These probably will come up again in a video at another point in time, but it could very well be years before that happens. So just wanted to show you some stuff I've been into, what I've been listening to, that kind of stuff. Just kind of, let everyone know I'm not gone. Thank you so much for watching, paying attention, subscribing, all of that stuff. It's really hard to grow a channel in a very competitive field when you don't have the time to commit. But I definitely appreciate everyone that tunes in, everyone that subs and comments, even though I'm really bad, and I've always been really bad with getting back to comments. So let's get into this because I've got a few here I'd like to talk about. This is quite recent pickup. This is Lydia Lunch covering Suicide's Frankie Teardrop, and on the B-side it is actually a demo of Frankie Teardrop and what appears to be the detective meets the space alien, which I guess is a Suicide song. I'm not familiar with it, but basically the B-side is Suicide and the A-side is Lydia Lunch. I haven't even put this record on my turntable yet, kind of saving it. If you're familiar with Frankie Teardrop, it's not exactly a song you can just throw on and sing along to and snap your fingers. It's a pretty bizarre track, a wild ride, so to say. Limited out of 2,000, got number 57. It's actually quite a few years old, 2008, so decade, maybe a little under a decade old, which is weird because I never even heard of this, and I do like Suicide and Lydia Lunch both, although I'm not an avid collector, so that's probably why totally slipped under my radar for a decade. Picked this up recently. Someone inside Canada on Discogs who had excellent prices and really good selection. I do actually have two copies. This is my second copy of this. Meat Puppets, Monsters, if you're not familiar, if you didn't recognize the cover. The reason I picked this up, got the custom picture sleeve inside that I think Meat Puppets almost always did in the SST era. Is because this is a nice marbled vinyl, blue with white blotches on it. Looks nice. Yeah, this is SST era as well. Got this for very cheap, so I didn't want to pass it up. I love colored vinyl. I'm a total sucker for it. Another very recent pickup. This just arrived in the mail a couple weeks ago. Less than that, I'd say. Neil Hamburger live at Third Man Studio. Or just live at Third Man Records, sorry, not studio. I'm a huge fan of Neil Hamburger. I've been a fan of his for quite a while. Some of his early stuff is a little bit too dry and just not funny in my opinion, but he definitely hit his stride maybe a decade ago or so. I've not even listened to this. I put it on and I just wasn't really able to pay attention, so I took it off because I love Neil Hamburger and I've never heard this. And I know he generally puts out fresh material every record, so I'm pretty looking forward to this one, which is a standard black pressing. There was a rare or limited, I think, black and blue marble or something, but I've never even seen one for sale. This is literally my most recent pickup. Picked this up at a flea market by my house. Joy Division, what's it called again? Technique. I have to say I wasn't familiar with this album until I picked it up. never really hugely got into New Order except the Best of and Rest of CD back when I was in high school, and that was about the extent of my interest with, you know, that kind of more dancey, polish kind of electronic music. I've always liked it a little bit more abrasive, or chaotic or whatever. But this is okay. There are a few tracks that are a little bit too dancey for my taste, but there's a few that are pretty cool that might fit with a little bit more like new wave kind of thing. But it's okay. I got it for a really good price. The record's in decent shape. Jacket's a bit beat up. And it does have the picture sleeve in there as well, which is cool. Hey, come on, stop. Come on. He's like chewing on his feet, kicking the table. Anyways, next one, picked this up locally. Really cool, never even heard of it. It just happened to be something that was at the used record store when I was in there, in the used record section when I went into the record store. And just thought it was just too cool to, you know, not pick up for how much it was. This is Beowulf, basically a live performance, like a screenplay or whatever. They acted out, and there's music in the background. 3-disc set, and apparently this is like a 70s reissue, I believe. And the original, I believe, was released in the 60s. This one looks nicer. I think the cover graphic is nicer as well. You can check out the other version on Discogs pretty easily. I know the dogs moved my table, so I'm all kind of out of frame here. But anyways, pretty cool. Got this for really cheap. And Beowulf, I've always loved it. Like, I'm not going to sound like, you know, some literature expert or whatever, but it's just a cool story. I always thought it was really interesting, like Norse mythology or whatever. But pretty cool. I haven't listened to it yet again. It's just the kind of thing I don't think you can really put on and, you know, kind of keep yourself busy. You have to put it on and focus on it. This I picked up a couple weeks ago, and I'm really glad I did. Indie music lost a huge figure recently. M.I.T.Y from the Fall. What an absolute legend he was. He died, and I was quite surprised to see a lot of publications picking up on his passing, because maybe it's just because I've only known of him in Canada and Indonesia. So I guess he was a pretty big cult figure in the UK, maybe even slightly mainstream. He did a lot of interviews with like The Guardian and BBC, as I can tell. So maybe he's just a lot better known over there. But yeah, I don't think I've met anyone other than English people, like personally, that know of the Fall. I know people in record collecting and music groups that know of them for sure, but just definitely not, you know, in common parlance in, you know, music culture or mainstream culture here, music culture. So I picked this up. This is called Totally Wired, the Rough Trade Anthology. That is, you know, basically just that. It's a 3-disc set, I believe, that has pretty much everything released on Rough Trade. Really nice, big, thick, gatefold pressing. Really cool little, try to get this turned around. Really cool blurb inside. I don't remember who wrote it, if it was M.I.T.Y. No, someone else. Daryl Easley, it looks like. But it's good. I do have, admittedly, quite a lot of this on vinyl already. But this is pretty rare, and I found it for just an amazing price, brand new. It's even got like the kind of thick poly bag, the hype sticker. So I need to listen to this a little bit more, but I think I have quite a lot of it already, but still pretty cool. The OCs, one of my favorite bands as of late, and definitely in the running for all time. This is Help. And this is the, I don't know, they always have fancy names for the pressings, but this is basically like neon yellow, like toxic waste yellow or something. Looks really cool. This is a pretty rare one. And again, I got it for an insane price from the same guy that I picked up the Meat Puppets record from. So that was pretty cool because I never even thought I'd get a copy of this. So I wasn't going to pay $100+ for it. This is really cool as well. Another amazing record that I absolutely love. Weed Forestin from Sebadoh. I believe it was actually originally released as Centradoh, which is why this one is entitled Centradoh. This is a limited, apparently self-released record. I believe that they sold on tours a couple years ago. Not really that much different. Not even sure if there's an... Oh yeah, there's a little insert. Seems to be liner notes kind of thing. I don't know. Either lyrics or a poem or something, and then, yeah, more something similar to that, a story, poem or something on this side. I've not actually pulled this out before. I already have this on a more common pressing. It's actually really rare, and the reason I picked it up was because, first of all, it was just an amazing price, like a little bit more than I paid for the standard edition of this, which isn't a lot. But other than the slightly different jacket, the big difference is this, or are these. I got a cassette called Child of the Apocalypse, sorry, that's literally never been opened. It's got like a yarn, I don't know, little bow tie wrapped around it, or bow wrapped around it. And what's even cooler is this custom USB that has pretty much the album and the cassette and a little video, so you can, you know, access it digitally. Really cool. I've not seen that before, you know, in kind of like a record combo. It's even magnetized, which, I don't know, can't be that dangerous because I've accessed the files on here and everything's fine. Quickly, a couple more. Let's do this, and I'll save that one for last. Black Flag, My War. I don't know why, but these are coming up on Amazon for really cheap, at least Amazon in Canada. So I grabbed it. Not my favorite Black Flag record, but it's pretty good. I don't know, My War gets shit on a lot by, I think, both by Black Flag fans and kind of like entry-level Black Flag fans that I'd more consider. Maybe I'm in more of an intermediate. I've known Black Flag for decades, but I've never hugely obsessively gotten into them. I really do like Damaged a lot. You know, for full-length albums, that's definitely my favorite. But I think this is really cool. I listened to this in full probably for the first time in my life. Not too long ago, probably a couple weeks after I got it in the mail, and I really liked it. I really do. I still think I like Damaged, but this is pretty good. Definitely a very different sound. They were always evolving and changing, which, you know, you got to appreciate, you know, in music in general. And last night, I actually tried to do an unboxing video for this, and I'm just notorious for botching unboxing videos. I hope this is the right copy. This is a really important record for me. The Eyes of Stanley Payne by Download. Download is, or was, a side project of Kevin Key and Dwayne Rudolph Gottel from Skinny Puppy. I don't think Ogre was in this. Yeah, I think it was those two. But anyways, I discovered them back in the 90s when this album came out. I think this was their third or fourth record. They'd done a couple full lengths and I think a couple EPs before this. This came out. I bought it because of the association with Skinny Puppy, and it just blew me away. It's just one of those records that just changed everything for me. They just set that industrial standard for me way too high, kind of like talking about New Order. This was the kind of electronic music I was into back in the 90s, not as much New Order. This is just like, it's just chaos. but it's just beautifully orchestrated and just layered and textured, and just so much detail to it. I think it's a phenomenal record. If you are not aware of Download or this album by them, it is an absolute must to check out. Phenomenal. So what I did a mail order from Storming the Bass, which I believe co-released this album. Yeah, Artifact, Storming the Bass, the original pressing or the original release on Network, which is very famous electronic label, indie electronic label, I believe based out of Canada. And Storming the Bass, the shop in Toronto had a kind of a package deal where you got 4 Download records, all the special edition colored vinyl. Is it? Oh, it's my black copy. Damn it. I do have the clear with blue splatter version of this. This is my black copy that I bought first, and then I found the colored copies online. So I ordered them. This is the only one of the 4 I got that is really rare. The other 3 that I got were pretty common pressings, or are not as highly desired as the blue splattered Eyes of Stanley Payne. So I will definitely do a Download video, so you will get to see that I do have the clear with blue splatter. I must have grabbed this off the shelf instead of from my duplicates box, but yeah, I didn't even realize. So anyways, there's some videos, some records. Get this video done, and then hopefully I'll get back onto my collection as soon as I can. Definitely not giving up. I'm still around, still definitely, you know, collecting, on the hunt, you know, all of that. Just very, very busy with everything, as I'm sure everyone else is. So, thank you so much for watching. Again, I appreciate sticking around. I appreciate subscribing, watching, etc. So, yeah, stay tuned for some more, and we'll see you again soon.